Theresa Caputo has always been known for her profound ability to communicate with spirits, bridging the gap between the living and the deceased. As the star of Long Island Medium, her gifts have brought comfort to countless individuals who have longed for messages from their loved ones. But beyond her role as a medium, Theresa is also a mother, a daughter, and now a proud grandmother. Her family is her anchor, and nothing brings her more joy than the opportunity to love and support them, both in the physical world and spiritually. On a sunny spring morning, Theresa Caputo's life took on a new chapter. The call had come. Her daughter, Victoria, was in labor and would soon give birth to Theresa's first grandchild. The anticipation in the air was palpable, and Theresa's heart swelled with excitement as she prepared to meet the newest addition to her family. It wasn't just the excitement of becoming a grandmother that overwhelmed her, it was the deep, spiritual connection she felt even before meeting her grandchild. Theresa had always believed in the presence of spirits, those who have passed on and continue to watch over their loved ones. As she drove to the hospital, she couldn't help but feel the presence of her own parents, long gone from the physical world but forever with her in spirit. She knew they would be there, in the room with her, guiding and blessing the new life that was about to enter the world. Upon arriving at the hospital, Theresa was greeted by her daughter's glowing face and the beaming smiles of her family. The room was filled with a palpable sense of joy, and Theresa could barely contain her excitement. "I can't believe it's finally here," she said, her voice quivering with emotion. "I've been waiting for this day my whole life." Victoria, still in labor, smiled weakly as Theresa reached out to hold her hand. "Mom, you have no idea how much I need you right now," Victoria whispered, and Theresa gave her a reassuring nod. As the hours passed, the anticipation grew. Theresa, though a public figure accustomed to being in the spotlight, was deeply moved by the quiet moments in the hospital room. The soft hum of the machines, the occasional words of encouragement from the nurses, and the rhythmic breathing of her daughter all seemed to blend into a quiet symphony. It was in these moments that Theresa felt a deep sense of peace, as though the universe itself was aligning for the arrival of this little soul. And then, as if the universe had whispered its approval, the moment arrived. The cries of a newborn filled the room, a sound so pure and powerful that it felt as if the very air had shifted. Theresa, overcome with emotion, held her breath as the nurse placed the baby into Victoria's arms. "It's a boy," Victoria whispered, her eyes glistening with tears. "Meet your grandson, Mom." Theresa's heart burst with joy as she gazed at the tiny, perfect child in her daughter's arms. He was beautiful, small, fragile, and yet full of promise. She leaned over, gently brushing her granddaughter's cheek with her fingers as tears flowed freely from her eyes. "Welcome to the world, little one," Theresa whispered. "You are loved beyond words." The baby's small hand curled around Theresa's finger, and in that moment, she felt an overwhelming connection. She knew that this child was meant to be a part of her family, that he had been guided into this world with the love and support of everyone who had ever touched their lives, both those present and those who had passed on. In her heart, she could feel her own parents, her beloved father and mother, smiling down on the newborn, sharing in the joy of this new life. After the birth, Theresa couldn't wait to share the news with her fans. Social media quickly filled with photos of the proud grandmother holding her newborn grandson. Her captions were filled with love, gratitude, and excitement. "The greatest gift I've ever received," she wrote on Instagram, sharing a photo of herself gazing lovingly at her grandson in the hospital room. "Welcome to the world, my precious angel. You have no idea how loved you are already." In the days that followed, Theresa spent as much time as possible with her daughter and new grandson. She watched with awe as Victoria embraced her new role as a mother, supporting her every step of the way. Theresa felt blessed to be part of this beautiful, intimate moment in her family's life, but she also reflected deeply on her spiritual journey. As a medium, she had spent so much of her life connecting with the spirits of those who had passed on. But now, she was seeing the world from a new perspective. Being a grandmother, she realized, was more than just a title, it was a deep spiritual responsibility. Theresa knew that she would be there for her grandson, not just in the physical sense, but in the spiritual one as well. She would guide him, love him, and nurture him in ways that would transcend the physical world. The bonds of family, she knew, went beyond life and death.